Okay, so this is just a quick introduction before the introduction. I've just gone to upload my vlog and I realised that I accidentally rendered the whole thing, which means the computer takes it and all the bits I've done and makes it into a video. It accidentally rendered at 15 frames a second, which is far too low. It needs to be at least 25, maybe 30 frames a second. So that's all very well, but it means I've got to remake the thing. And I haven't got the original footage. I accidentally deleted the damn footage. I've gone through my backup archive hard drive and the main footage I still have. So I'm able to salvage most of it. The second camera angle on this and the first 2-minute introduction, although edited nicely, is lagging in frame rate at 15 frames a second. The sound is fine. So overall, most of it I've salvaged. A few bits you'll see is a little bit choppy. Sound is fine. That means that 90% of this vlog is okay, but it's the best I can do. Enjoy the vlog. So, missing pieces of video, bits that I've gone over. Now, I've only had a chance to re-go over some of the footage from my holiday vacation. As many of you know, last year I took a fairly long holiday to the United States and parts of the Caribbean. And as part of that first week, I ended up hanging out with that YouTuber, Patrick, from the channel Tesla Trip. So I've only really just got round to going back through the footage, because remember, those first few videos I was editing as I went along. I was trying to keep up with myself. So I was racing through. So the video that I'm about to put on in a minute is unused footage from the day that I filmed vlog number 12. And it was just after I drove the 2.5 hours from Fremont, California to San Francisco. Incidentally, if you want to see that almost unedited 2.5 hour drive, that is on my sister channel, which is originally named Wesley Jago 2. It's where I put all my unedited footage, anything which is too long to put in a vlog, anything I forgot to put in there, any long footage, it's anything I want really. It's a bit weird really, because you spend hours and hours trying to craft together these vlogs with lots of shots and story and all that, and you don't get many views. Yet stupidly, some of the things which are not well edited and more mundane, generally educational things or questions or anything like that, tend to get a lot of views. I have videos on other channels which have 40,000 views. Go figure. So if you want to check out any of the long, unedited, boring videos, be my guest. One of them is over 6.5 hours long, and I had to vet those things carefully because, you know, we all get road rage, we all swear, we all say things that are not really YouTube friendly. I had to check them because there was a few times. I might put a blooper reel together at some point. So yeah, this is the same day that I recorded vlog number 12, and a spin-off of that I released straight afterwards called 12 Plus, which is the 1 hour 41 minute video of us heading down to Silicon Valley that evening. Now most of that video is more relevant for Patrick's channel, Tesla Trip, and was more about cars and Tesla. But what I forgot is the cameras were rolling for a good hour before that, before we did the YouTube live stream. So yeah, this video is over an hour long. I wouldn't really call it a vlog. It's more of a video commute cast. So in this missing unaired video, we were talking more about general stuff. The differences between the UK and the US, my holiday, vacation, technology, Silicon Valley, and of course Tesla. So enjoy. When I think of San Francisco, because I drove through here the other day on the way to Fremont, first time I drove, I've seen all these skyscrapers. This is on a fault line, isn't it?
Yep.
What happens when the big one hits? Because everyone's going to be screwed. Are these buildings capable of withstanding that?
The one that I was in had a sign on it said that it had been retrofitted to withstand earthquakes.
Like a magnitude 8 or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, but I just think it's a when, not an if, and there's a lot. I don't know what. I think the safest place. I've never experienced an earthquake, but I imagine the safest place to be is in the middle of the street where falling shit and land on. Do you get anything like that in Wyoming?
Yeah, we actually have been getting a little bit of earthquakes. Supposedly the largest fault line like in the world is in Yellowstone. That's where the
super volcano.
Yeah, that's where the super volcano is. So
is Yellowstone near Wyoming? Or?
Yeah, it's in a part. The majority of it is in Wyoming.
So you've seen the movie 2012.
Yeah,
what
exactly. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
That's the consensus is, well, everybody's screwed if that one happens, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that'd be bye bye United States, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah, they're talking like the whole world if that one goes, because it's just gonna mess up everything.
Yeah. Well,
There's like, it could be tomorrow, it could be in a million years.
yeah, the chances of that happening in our lifetime.
So
I think an asteroid's a bigger threat, and to be honest, give it another couple of decades. A couple of decades.
that's why Elon wants
Now
to
turn right onto Cyril
get a few
Magnin
humans
Street.
over to Mars just in case.
Not even that. If they can launch rockets on a moment's notice and not, you know what I mean? NASA used to spend $1 billion launching every
Now
space
turn
shuttle.
right onto Paul Street.
Because the costs are going down and they can reuse the things. If they ever found there was a threat, 20 years time.
Can I go right here?
It's a no right. It's a no right.
Holy cow.
No, I'm finding it's quite easy. It's all one way. London's. Well, I've never driven in London, but it's. Good luck to any Americans out there because it's a lot
In
harder.
0.1 miles, turn left onto Grant Avenue.
Now it wants me to flip all the way around the other way.
Yeah, I was saying give it a couple of decades. Things like asteroids and that should be less of a threat. You know. No, on the way in, when I had no problem driving from Fremont to here. It's just getting around the city on foot I found the trouble. Now I've got some lovely views of all the hills, the hilly parts of the city.
Yeah.
I ended up going on that route somehow.
Oh, nice.
So I thought the car was it was steep.
Yeah, there's I can't remember what the name of it is, but there's one that's like crazy steep.
Yeah, I don't know if I was on that or not, but it was. Yeah, I wanted to see what
All
happened.
the houses look like they're built sideways.
Yeah, I wanted to see what happened if I just put my foot down, sort of like Dukes of Hazzard, sort of, take off. It's that's amazing. I'll just talk for my bit. Right, so I found Patrick at his hotel. And I've messed up again. Right, so we're in the
Now
car.
turn left onto Grant Avenue.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I just won't talk on the live feed. Right, so I found Patrick and met him at his hotel. We're now heading out to where are we heading?
Oh, we're going to the Tesla factory, or not factory.
Not the factory,
Tesla
The
headquarters.
Tesla headquarters, which is in the Silicon Valley area. It's a little bit later than I thought because I did get lost a couple of times, me being me. It's almost 5:30 in the evening, so that's where we go. That's the end of that shot. The next bit will probably just me there, so posing in front of it, Facebook or whatever.
Should we stop recording?
Yeah. Oh, just control it from there.
Yeah.
I noticed in the United States, the Americans love their flags. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Very
Very proud.
Yeah, very patriotic. We don't really do that in the UK as much. Oh, there's a British flag. There you go. I feel at home.
we fly your flag here too.
Yeah.
Actually, everybody flies their flags here.
Well, it's a very American thing. But
Yeah, people fly whatever nationality they are. So you'll see, like, a lot of the big cities are kind of compartmentalized a little bit. Like, we were near Chinatown.
Okay. Yeah. I know there's a lot of Chinese people
Yeah,
about.
there's like an Italian area.
Yeah, oh, you have that in London.
Mexican area.
You have that in London. I think a lot of metropolitan areas have their own little communities.
Yeah.
So, let's say on a map, the streets where they all go one way and it looks complicated as hell, but it is actually really simple.
No, it's complicated.
Well, no. You drive one way. If you see a no-turn right or a no-turn left, you just follow that. I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed with myself. But I was able to do that. Is New York and all that the same pretty much? It looks the same on the map. It's just blocks and avenues and roads.
So
I thought that driving.
from what I've understood, I've been there. I've never driven there.
Okay.
Because I'm told you don't drive there. You just take taxis.
Right.
Nobody. It's just.
The cars I've seen on the camera, the webcam for all cars driving about.
Yeah, their population density is much higher there.
Right.
They consider this to be the wide open spaces on the West Coast.
Yeah. But worst case scenario, I'll get stuck in traffic.
Yeah. I mean, this is about as congested as it gets over here on the West Coast.
Right.
What we're in right now.
So I've experienced the worst so far.
Yeah. But DC is just nuts.
So I plan to drive DC to New York.
And supposedly, California drivers are the nice ones.
We should be recording this. This should be because it's not scripted. Sorry. We'll just repeat a little bit I did. Yeah. So what I was saying was a second ago before we hit record is I found driving in the US quite easy. All the roads go sort of one way around the city, and one road will go one way, the next block will go the other, and there's signs that are quite clear which way not to turn. Yeah, so
I disagree.
No?
I think
I've hit the worst part.
Yeah, this town, downtown San Francisco, is really a pain in the butt.
Yeah, but I've hit the worst area, or one of the worst areas, straight away. So as I head out across the US, it gets easier. Apart from maybe sort of New York, maybe Los Angeles.
Yeah, New York and DC are like really bad. They consider this area to be relaxed. The drivers are nicer. They're very.
I've had people beeping me all day long.
Yeah, everybody are really mad. They'll flip you the bird and stuff over on the East Coast more often. Right. Supposedly, that's the that's the stereotype.
Right.
I always take the public transit when I go to the East Coast.
I'm trying to.
Bad.
I'm trying to see. I've hired a car because I want to see the real America. Now, I'm a that's clever. Sorry, phone just fell off. Now I'm obviously a tourist, but I don't want to go on these like pre-packaged routes. It's probably more expensive and you've got less freedom. But I mean, I need to blend in, and as I said before, until I open my mouth, people don't know where I'm from. Although I could probably try and put on an accent. If you've seen any of my old early videos made 3 or 4 years ago, making cocktails, just messing around, I was trying to put on an American accent. The reason I was doing that is because I was trying to appeal to a broader audience, because most Americans are probably the viewers. But yeah, I get to New York, I could try and blend it. It's not going to work, but I could be like, I'm walking here. I'm going to get myself a coffee. No one's going to fall for that, are they?
I don't know. There's a lot of different American accents. Like, I think of myself as not having an accent.
Same here.
But obviously, I probably have some kind of a weird accent from the area
I'm used to it. I mean,
I'm from.
It's like, because I've watched a lot of your videos. It's weird because I hear it and I'm used to hearing the voice, so I don't really hear any different. But when I'm talking over here, I seem to sound really. I can hear my own accent. You just don't hear it when you're surrounded by your own nationality. But
it's weird. Like just within the United States, there's certain areas that call products different things. So.
Right, yeah.
Like where we're at here, I don't know if it's just called a soda or a pop.
We just have fizzy drinks,
Yeah.
Lemonade. We still have Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we call it a pop in Wyoming.
Soda pop. Yeah.
And then like over in the lower southern East Coast, it's all Coke. It's a Coke.
Yeah.
Even though it could be a Pepsi, it's still a Coke.
yeah, we do the same. The words are interchangeable.
Yeah.
I could go in a McDonald's and ask for a Pepsi or a Coke. You get the same product.
Yeah,
they don't care. I don't care. It is. I mean, I do prefer Pepsi, to be fair, but they're very similar.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of caffeine. Well, I love caffeine. It doesn't love me, so I try and avoid it.
Right.
I had some yesterday right before we went into the factory, and I was
buzzing?
I was having problems. I don't know if you could tell I was breathing kind of weird.
Couldn't tell. Yeah, I mean, I've only recently started drinking coffee.
This is where I had lunch at the Jack in the Box.
Okay.
So
it's another.
So we spent 2 hours going around one block.
So there's a lot of chains. I've heard of some of them. I've heard of Wendy's.
Yeah.
I went to one a few years ago in the airport at the Dominican Republic. They had one there, and the only thing we really have in the UK is probably McDonald's. McDonald's is everywhere. We don't really have any of these other ones.
So
I'm looking forward to trying a few of these places.
Yeah, so we've got some pretty big fast food burger joints, and McDonald's is probably number one.
Yep.
Then Wendy's. I'd say Jack in the Box is one of the bigger ones.
Okay.
But they don't have any in Wyoming where I live. Another one's Hardee's or Carl's Jr., depending on what part of the country you live in.
Okay.
There's a lot of that around here.
Yeah.
And like there's grocery trains. They're all Kroger, but some places are called King Soopers, some places are called Smiths, and some places are called Kroger. It's all the same store,
Right.
but
So they're under different brands, but they're under different names, but they're the same brand.
Yeah, they're the same. They're the exact same store, but just depending on what state you're in, they're called something different.
Okay.
Because I think they were separate at one point, but they all merged, and they didn't want to change all the signs or something. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of places that do that. They have one company and operate under several different brands.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't think of any.
Well, like Google now is no longer Google. It's,
Alphabet. The
Alphabet's
Alphabet's parent
it's Alphabet, and then they've got Waymo, which we should.
The
where we're going
self-driving.
now, we should be seeing some of those little Waymo cars cruising around over in Palo Alto.
All I know from Waymo is they've got like a self-drive prototype, and it doesn't look anywhere near as good as a Tesla. But
Actually, we'll probably stop at the supercharger in Palo Alto at the Computer History Museum. I don't know if it'll be open or not, but they have like a whole display on the self-driving Google cars.
Okay. I mean, the technology's there. They're trying to come up with the self-drive, and there's a few companies.
Self-driving.
Self-driving. Yeah, it's self-driving now. I mean, Tesla's probably the leader of the market, really. They're the ones that are light years ahead of especially traditional car manufacturers. But there are other tech companies like Google, and you've got Mobileye, which used to do the autopilot software for the Teslas. But I mean, are they still going, do you think? I mean, are they gone? Because they own the software for the self-drive hardware one, don't they?
Oh yeah. They just put out something the other day. But yeah, they're still moving forward with their plans. Yeah. But Mobileye was trying to play it safe and move slow, and Tesla is not. No, not saying that they're not safe, but they're.
You have to make progress to get anywhere.
Right,
I mean,
right. They're.
But there's risk with that.
The way Elon sees it, he says, if they can put in a certain level of autonomy, for safety features, to not put it in the vehicles is actually killing people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because right now, the fact that it can see a wreck, a car ahead of you,
it predicts
and
it
stop.
Can predict, yeah. And
the fact that it can do that, why wouldn't you put it in there? I mean,
it should be it should be safer, and I'm sure there'll be teething problems. But in order to make progress and do something which has never been done before, you have to take some risk. And I think Elon, he said before he doesn't like risk, but in order to do anything, you have to push the envelope a bit.
The problem comes is people call it self-driving right now, and it's not. I mean, it's basically like super cruise control.
Yeah, and it's called autopilot.
Yeah.
The same as an aircraft has autopilot. The pilots are still there monitoring everything.
Right,
but
and they have to be able to take over
at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Which is why, after an accident happened in a very popular, well-known.
Yeah, John
like
Brown.
That's right. That's
or
why.
Joshua Brown.
Yeah. After that, they Tesla took notice, obviously, and they made sure that after 3 warnings, very quickly, it will stop the car. It will just cut out.
Yeah. So right now, what happens is you have to have your hand on the wheel like every mile. So it's literally after 1 mile of driving, it checks to make sure your hand's on the wheel. Yeah,
and if the car starts to lose track of where it is, it'll probably be
the same thing. It'll notify you and make sure there's hands on the wheel, and if not, it beeps really loud. And if that doesn't work, then it shuts down the car and turns on the hazard lights.
It needs to know the driver hasn't fell asleep.
Right. Which, when they first kicked it on, it didn't do that. So you could drive for a very long time with it. As long as there was a good confidence level, like if it was a well-marked road, without any issues, it would just go.
Yeah.
And you could go for hours without ever touching the wheel.
I mean, you could probably. I don't know whether there's a sensor in the seat, but you could probably just get in the back.
there wasn't initially, and somebody did, but there is now.
They probably just put a sack of potatoes there and then just go.
The sensor's always been there, but there wasn't the check for it. Now it's on there. In fact, you can't even back up a Tesla if you're not in the seat.
Right.
Like, so if you sit up to look back, the car just stops all of a sudden, and it freaks people out.
But it's better to err on the side of caution, when it comes to the sensors and that, because people will try and abuse things and do things they're not supposed to, and yeah. I don't know, I'll use that bit.
So getting out of San Francisco, this is why I wanted to stay in here, because it takes forever to get around inside of here.
It's just the traffic lights. I mean, this is like traffic light hell. It's You see, in the UK, you can drive for a long way and you'll have a roundabout. And when you've got all the people at the intersection waiting to go, how can I explain it? With a roundabout, the priorities are there. You just go. They'll all be gone. But with here, you're still waiting for that traffic light to change. And because every single block has a traffic light system, it just takes forever to get anywhere. I mean, do you have any roundabouts in the US? I know that it's not many, but
they're starting to put them in.
Yeah. And they're quite easy. Again, once you've learned how they work and you're comfortable.
Yeah,
we have one in the town where I live.
They make a lot of sense because people have to stop.
Yeah.
It's all about merging, but it's a little scary because a lot of drivers aren't very good.
Yeah. I mean, in my town, there's a main roundabout and there's 5 mini roundabouts around it. And
wow.
And it looks really, cars are shooting everywhere. It looks complicated until you understand that each mini round, you forget the big ones there, and you treat each individual roundabout as an individual one. And if you're coming from the other side of the road over there, it can be quite daunting because you're having to reverse everything in your head. But that's like here. I've been driving here a couple of days, and I'm actually used to it now. I'm surprised how my confidence has grown. So yeah.
I can't even imagine driving on the other side of the road and other side of the car.
I reckon it'd be the same. Couple of days, you'd be used to it. I mean, Australia drive on the same side as the UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think most of the world do drive on the wrong side, which is this side. I call it the wrong side, but I beg to differ.
And you also have your powers a little bit different, so then your video formats are all a little different.
Yeah, I mean, all my video I'm recording is in PAL, 25 frames a second. Now in America, they record in 30 frames a second in NTSC, which is
29.97.
Yeah, and I never could work out how they got that 0.97, but then I think it's
drop frame.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much per second. It's just over a longer period of time. It's the average.
Yeah,
it's an average frame rate.
It's all based on the analog.
Yeah,
and it's all based on the current, and the refresh rate is based on the power signal, the cycling of the power.
Yeah,
and because you have different power, that's why you have a different frame rate.
Frames match that. It's like when I tried. I was testing out my main camera. I was trying some of the slow-mo settings, and I realised there was a flickering. It's only when I googled what that was, I realised it was not in synchronization with the light in my room, and and it was picking up that flickering. Outside, you wouldn't have that problem with natural light, or if the light I was using was in sync with that. Or another example is if you point a camera at an old-fashioned television set, the old CRT TVs, you'll get a flickering on there because the frame rate is different than the shutter speed of the camera.
Right, yeah, you just gotta adjust your shutter speed until you can...
Yeah, until it matches.
But it's interesting, you can get like little weird scan lines that slowly crawl.
Yeah.
You can do things fun, like with helicopters, and...
See the blades?
The blades, and you can get it so that it'll pause them. So the blades look like...
They're not moving.
They're not moving.
Wow.
And you can do that more with CCD sensors or film. Yeah. The CMOS sensors that are in like our new cameras for cell phones and just about everything.
Yep.
They have what is that called? Rolling shutter, where it scans from the top of the sensor to the bottom of the sensor.
Right.
So because of that, blades and things like that always look like they're bending, and you can't get a full image.
Yeah, and I know if I'm trying to stabilise any bad footage in the editor, there's a little setting called rolling shutter.
Yeah.
I think it's if you're moving left to right, you'll get that sort of swaying thing, and it'll try and correct
the Jello effect.
Yeah, the Jello effect. Yeah.
And I think some of the newer cameras have built-in stuff to kind of, they call them a global shutter, so that it'll actually take a full image.
Right.
I think Red has something for that. The Red camera and Blackmagic.
Right.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Red and Blackmagic are sort of the higher end, professional sort of end cameras. It can do 4, 6, even 8K, which is the resolution. It's just insane. But yeah, they're sort of ahead of the curve really when it comes to. Eventually, that'll probably make it into, at least the resolution to make it into mainstream cameras and probably cell phones. But
yeah, it's always kind of a compromise, because when they do stuff like that, they put in the rolling shutter, or the global shutter.
Right.
It reduces some of the stops, the low light capabilities and dynamic range and things, because it's got another mechanism in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, if you're doing action stuff where people are running around and things, you might want to put that on there. But if it's like a talking head like what we're doing now,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
in a similar subject, frame rate, for example. I've watched. I mean, if you're watching something at 60 frames a second, I find it really weird. It's like on fast forward.
Oh yeah.
It's. I mean, it is normal, but it's because we're not used to it. We're very accustomed to watching things in sort of 25, 30 frames, or cinema 24 frames to get that film effect.
It's weird because we see old shows from the BBC, and they were shot at 50 fields a second, right? So they're interlaced.
Yeah, because you got lower and high field. Yeah.
And they look really weird on our TV because the frame rates don't match and the fields don't match. So there's like a little bit of ghosting in between the frames.
Right. I found that I don't know about recently, but years ago when I showed any American movies, it looked odd on our TVs for probably the same reason.
Yeah.
But in reverse. Everything just looked different.
Yeah, they look a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm actually out here, it looks like the UK to me, apart from all the signs are different and everyone speaks a little funny, but yeah, so, yeah, the actual, sometimes the image can lie a bit when it's converting between formats and things.
Where are we going? San Jose. I turned off the voice. 7 miles.
So the Airbnb, is it you actually booked that now?
Yeah, it says it's confirmed, but we probably better check with her. I messaged her, and I said, the payment says it went through now.
Right.
So I think we're good, but she's probably going to give us details like when we can check in and all that.
How close is it to whereabouts is it again?
Oh, it's back where we were at.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How far were we from there, from like the Golden Gate Bridge? In case like, in case I want to walk down. Is it quite far? Or?
No, we're right there. I mean, we're doing a couple miles.
That's close. That's close. Yeah. See, I'll show you the footage later I got of the bridge, and it was actually really good because all those clouds added so much. Because I was trying to open my original video like a movie. And I've used all the effects. I put it into panoramic, anamorphic widescreen, and I've colour graded it like so it really stands out. I've got some licensed music, some theatrical stuff, and then I sort of run a fast forward, scratch record sound, so it comes down to me.
So your little mini video that you put out?
Oh, that now.
I watched that this morning.
Well, the thing is, I'm trying to do little videos to sort of bridge between vlogs, but I want to use commercial music, and I can't monetize commercial music.
Right.
So the thing is, if I had a 10-minute video and I worked really hard on it, and I shove anything commercial in there, I can't monetize.
Right.
Not that I'm making anything from it, but I'd like to be able to, even if I get 1 cent from it, it's just, I'd like to feel rewarded for my efforts.
Yeah.
So, so along my trip, I plan to put like little 30-second clips out. I mean, further down the road, I plan to I don't know, probably between Vegas and Grand Canyon. I might be going along, sort of, a few different camera angles, the drone going round, and I want to play. Have you ever seen the Lampoon's Vacation? Chevy Chase, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to play Holiday Road to that, because to me it's the American road trip. Holiday Road. I used to watch that as a kid, that movie, so that's one of them. Or maybe in Miami, I might sort of get the Will Smith track on. Welcome to Miami, or I say in Bel Air, which I've got to work out which end of the country is that. Because the thing is, if I play 30 or 10 seconds of that and start singing along, I know that anyone who watches that video is going to be. That's one of those songs that you can't help but complete in your head. So yeah, I plan to put little ones. I mean that one. So I don't know if I'm doing this from a video or not, but. That video there is pretty much saying to people who know me at home, look, I'm going out on holiday, I'm going to just go for it, and because usually I'm quite timid, quiet, and I wouldn't really, I'm not travelled at all on my own, so I've been on a few holidays when I was married, but I'm just literally going to come over here, make as many, do what I love, make some videos, see all the places and all the things I've seen in films, and try and see the real America at the same time, and as you can see, my little book, my little guide, my little Bible of what I plan to do. So yeah, that little 30-second video is just sort of saying, you know, nothing's going to hold me back. And it's a very catchy song.
What were you using for the titles to have them?
See, I did all those in advance. Those titles I did like 2 months ago.
Oh.
All I did, I literally had, I literally just dropped the footage.
Oh.
See what I mean? If it's layered.
What were you using to animate the titles? Vegas or?
Yeah, I was using Vegas. I just, you know, I got the song, and it's not the original version of the song. I got it off SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
But I had that, and so with all my graphics editing, as I said, I just use paintbrush and transitions, and green screen, use a green colour in the package, and just chroma key it out, and it's really effective.
Huh.
It means I haven't got to mess around with like Adobe.
So there's a titler in there that can do that sort of similar.
Oh yeah, I mean, with the words that were coming up, that was done with the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I used green screen for like the airplane when I had it spinning Create on, or if I introduce my channel and put the graphic in the corner, or with the opening sequence where it says my name and where it is. They're all written. I've got about 60 of them written out in every combination possible in case I fall behind or get ahead. It took me hours, but I haven't got to worry about doing that over here. I just drop it in. And I've got all my little presets done, so I just go, YouTube green screen done, and the video behind it, whatever I film, will just. So that means all my introductions will be personalised. They're not just doing the same old thing with a number on the end.
Yeah.
See, I've taken influence from other people who vlog and that, but I'm trying to be unique in my own thing and just have fun with it, really.
Oh, our Airbnb gave us a message. She said something about bad reception.
Okay. So she says reception is also bad grammar. I have a keyless lock and the code is, and it says turn key knob to open. So I just it timed out. How do I get it out?
Double hit the home button.
Is that email or Airbnb?
Yeah.
Airbnb.
Yeah, if you just sorry.
So I was trying to read it when it was on the magnet, but it was jumping everywhere. Okay. It's really difficult to
In view, it'll probably pop up bigger.
Yeah. It does not. Turn the key knob left and use handle to open the door. To lock the door, it does not lock automatically, but it's just instructions on how to get in.
Oh, okay. I wonder if we should message her and ask her if there's room for 2 cars.
Well, I can leave mine at the thing for the night and sort it out tomorrow.
Alright.
And then it's less hassle, we haven't got to rush back. I don't know what time that car park's open to.
I don't think it ever closes.
Well then if I do get it out of there tonight, I haven't got to pay the full 35, have I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll message her back. Contact. Okay, so yeah, we've got I'm in the messages, that's fine. What should I say? How should I phrase it?
Oh,
You dictate and I'll type it in.
you know what? I had messaged her before. I said that you were coming in a rental and I had the Model X.
So she should know then.
So she should already know, so
Yeah.
it should be fine.
I mean, even if it's just one space, I'm sure you can.
I guess we'll scope it out on the way back.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm parked behind you, if there's a few,
Yeah, yeah.
Or even if I have to be creative and sort of park sideways, I will figure it out.
rush hour.
It's not too bad. There's enough lanes over here though. We don't usually get above 3 lanes in the UK.
This is where the autopilot works really good. There's another bolt.
Yeah, you seem surprised to see a lot of EVs out here, but to me this is like the capital of where it all is. This is part of the influence of why I'm here, because this is where all the action is.
Well, I'm surprised to see the bolts because there are just not that many of them. I mean, they just came out basically this year.
Right, I'm getting confused probably between the Volt and the Bolt. Are they?
Yeah,
is the Bolt
yeah.
like the next one, the next generation?
Yeah, so the Bolt is the Model 3 competitor from GM, General Electric, Chevy. So
still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So Tesla announced. Well, they've been announced forever. I mean, ever since the very first blog from Elon on his secret master plan that he published publicly on his blog was that they were gonna make a mass market electric vehicle that more people.
That was
could
in
afford.
the first 10-year plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
In the what's it called?
And nobody believed him. And so he's like, we're gonna make an expensive sports car just to demonstrate that electric cars can be cool, fast, and work. And so that was a Roadster. And then they designed from the ground up the Model S, and they kind of figured they'd do the Model X by just tweaking a few little things, and then they realized they wanted to just make this a whole nother car.
Because there's two sides to the market. There's the sedan side,
right.
Then there's the SUV. And,
right.
And I don't think they originally planned it, but then they thought, well, that's part 2.5 then, before part 3.
So they kind of stumbled a little bit with that, because it got delayed by a couple of years.
And there was a lot of errors and complications. It's one of the most complicated. I mean, we're in a Model X right now, and it's probably one of the most complicated cars which has and will ever be made.
Right, it's a really cool car, but it probably is going to have issues with little things, the doors and whatnot, because there's just like a million sensors, and every little thing they tweaked it to make it a little different.
There must be a lot of micro switches.
Yeah.
You see the way you.
Well, we saw the wiring harness in the factory, and it was just ridiculous.
See, I used to own a 206cc, which is a Peugeot, which had a convertible roof, and that had loads of micro switches. And when I got rid of it, it didn't work.
Oh, so
and it's like this. You got your doors, and it all works in a similar way.
So I don't know if it was probably after the Gigafactory event or announcement that GM saw how well the Model S's were selling, and they're like, you know what? People like the Volt with a V, and they figured they did a what are those called? It was a car that they don't ever plan on really making.
Concept car.
A concept car of the Bolt. Right. And they debuted it at the Detroit Motor Show, and people liked it. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna fast track this thing and get it done in 1 year. So they contracted it out to LG, Life's Good, the Korean company that makes phones and TVs.
Remember the batteries from Tesla from Panasonic, so
right.
They're all they've been in the industry for years.
Yeah, so apparently they pretty much made the car. Like the vast majority of that car is actually from LG.
I mean, the only problem with GM and Ford and all that who are trying to play catch up is it's just the infrastructure's not there.
Their whole goal was to get that thing shipping before Tesla did and get all the reservation holders, because they saw how many reservations were out, and that's when they decided to fast track the Bolt. They're like, there's 500,000 Tesla customers that want a car for $35,000. We can put it out in a year. We have a factory. Let's do it.
You'd think the big companies would learn from sort of Silicon Valley things in that the first one to market isn't always the winner, is it? I mean, Apple weren't the first people to make the iPad, a touchscreen tablet device. I mean, there's loads of examples of that. I mean, the first iPod, there were music players around before the iPod, but they were the ones that truly cracked it, but they weren't first to market. And it'd probably be a similar story with the Model 3, because they've got an infrastructure behind it.
And it's sad, like Elon said this about the Bolt. It's a compliance car, basically. Like, there's a lot of mandates in the United States for emissions and stuff, and they're making enough to offset it so they can sell more trucks.
Right, what, electric or?
Yeah, the Bolt. Bolt. They're only making enough bolts, around 30,000, to offset the fact, so they can have the bigger motor trucks.
Right.
Because they get credit for the offsets.
So they're really just doing it because they have to. It's like the old. I mean, GM released a electric car. It was like
the EV1.
The EV1. Because it was like the 90s, was it? Or?
Yeah, the late 90s, because they're mandated to. Administration changed. They weren't mandated to. They literally took them all back because they were leases and crushed them.
Yeah.
And they pried them from people's hands. They did not want to give them up.
Exactly. And the battery.
They held a candlelight vigil.
I don't think. I mean, who holds? I mean. Elon once messed up again. Yeah, Elon, as you said, who holds a candlelit vigil for a product?
Yeah.
Especially by General Motors. But yeah, I mean that wasn't even lithium ion. That's probably like lead acid batteries.
They were I can't remember. They were nickel metal hydride batteries.
Okay, but they had like a 50-mile range.
Yeah,
they weren't.
It had a 50-mile range. I think it couldn't go more than 65.
Yeah,
they were actually working on a generator that you could tow behind it to make it like what the Volt ended up being.
Okay, I mean
it was small.
It was in the same league. It was in the same league as maybe the G Wiz, or maybe slightly worse than the first generation Leaf. I think the first one could do like 80 miles.
Yeah, the Leaf was significantly better, but it was really cool. It had inductive charging paddles to charge it, which is kind of different.
I mean, the two biggest issues with electric cars will be range. I've lost my train of thought. Range and
cost.
No, there's two things. Obviously, their infrastructure does crack, but the other companies haven't really hit. That's in the head. That's what I said. The beauty of editing. There might be a few jumps in your edit, but.
Anyways, a lot of the things that people thought about electric cars that were not good were probably from the EV1. They were small, slow, expensive, no range.
Absolutely.
And so that was like on the hit list of Tesla. Like, we're gonna make a car that's fast, big, roomy, lots of storage.
Yeah, to get away from that concept of the electric golf car or the milk float, because things have moved on dramatically.
Yeah, so they've done it, and I think there's a lot of people that own Teslas that don't buy them because they're electric cars. They buy them because they're really good cars.
Yeah, I mean,
they just happen to be electric.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, what was it? I mean, as we went, I can't say that. I was going to say above when we went into the thing. There was a thing that said above the door about
Oh, that's fine. You can say that.
Yeah, it said, I forget what the damn slogan is, but we aim
all over around the Tesla factory, they put their mission statement.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
To accelerate the
advent of electric vehicles and things, but yeah, that's been their goal.
So that's a good thing that GM's got the Bolt running around. Then we see them all over the place here, because that's the whole point. Yeah, it's not just to get everybody owning a Tesla; it's to get everybody switched over to electric. Yeah, their mission is bigger than that, and Elon wants competition. Tesla want the competition. Yeah, it's kind of sad because for a while there, they were supplying drivetrains for Toyota and was it Mercedes?
I know Toyota was one of them.
Yeah, and they ended their contracts. They were like, no, we're good. So that's when Tesla put out this SUV because they weren't going to, because they figured Toyota has an SUV that's electric that we're supplying the parts for. We don't need to make our own.
Exactly. I mean that was near the beginning, wasn't it? I mean,
we gotta get over there. We're not gonna make it.
Where are you trying to get to? Not up there, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm supposed to go over there. Not gonna happen.
I've just been sticking to the middle lane, because otherwise I veer off where I don't want to go. And I know today I learned to take notice of the big green signs above that tell me where I'm going.
Well, there's a supercharger there.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so that was around the same time I think, when they started working with Toyota. When Tesla started getting going, I mean, they were
there's Model X.
You see, Tesla started getting taken more seriously when
passing up that Leaf.
When real car companies took notice. Now Daimler, those are the ones which pretty much saved them, didn't they?
Yeah.
They saved them in the beginning because
that's what they were making electric drivetrains for.
It was in 2008 where Tesla almost lost it, and it nearly lost both its companies during the recession because there's just a lot. It was just a really bad time for him. But yeah, he had some. I think they were phoning around to get investment from different companies, and one of them was Daimler, the people who make smart car. So they had a meeting, didn't they? And they set it up. And what Tesla actually did is they made a demonstration smart car. They kitted it out with batteries, and not just like batteries shoved in everywhere. They made it look really good, so that they can demonstrate their technology. Now in the US, you can't really get smart cars, can you? They're more a European thing.
They are more of a Europe. They do have them here.
Yeah, I think at the time the story I heard is they have to send someone down to Mexico to get one, and then bring it back, and then it has like 2 weeks to for his team to they were really small back then. They didn't have as many employees anywhere near what they have today. So they literally kitted it out so they could make it electric, which gives it that instant torque and power and everything that the modern Teslas have. And they went in the board meeting and the people there looked pretty bored, PowerPoint presentations, that type of thing. And at the end of it, they said, "So, do you want to see it?" And they're like, "What do you mean? What do you see it?" I said, "Well, we made one."
Yeah.
So they took the executives or whatever out and they gave them a demonstration, and it's one of those things, when they got out of the car they couldn't just not have a smile on their face, because and what that led to is the investment. I mean, it's like 10 million or 40, a lot of money anyway. It led to the original investment that Tesla got, and that's what bailed them out. That's what absolutely saved the company.
So speaking of that instant acceleration, the instant torque, there's another Tesla whizzing past us.
There are Teslas everywhere around here. I mean, we're in one at the moment. There was a Leaf up there. They are everywhere around here.
When there was a get-together from Tesla Motors Club down here a couple of years ago, last time I saw a factory tour, we were all going where we're going now, to the Tesla headquarters, but every stoplight there'd be a row of Teslas lined up, and everybody'd launch them.
Oh, what, in insane mode?
Yeah, in insane mode, and it was a lot of fun. I didn't have an insane mode car, but it kept up pretty good.
Yeah,
they both get off the line about the same, but after about 30 miles per hour, that initial G pulling force on the insane mode keeps going. So we get across the street at about the exact same time, but after that, is when they kind of start to pass up, and then we hit the speed limit.
And what's the 0 to 60 in this vehicle? Keeping in mind it's the Model X, not the S. So, so this is an SUV and it's heavier.
I think it's 4.7.
4.7.
Officially, people are getting closer to like 4.1 or 2.
So this vehicle, the Model X, can get to 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. I think the Model S can be quicker, but this is an SUV. It's a lot heavier, but for an SUV, it's unheard of to do those sort of figures.
Even the 75D, I think it's like around 5.2 or something,
which is still really fast.
It is still like the fastest SUV.
I think
other than a Tesla.
I think my car does it in like 11 or 12 seconds, so it's a lot slower. But what's do you know the horsepower on this?
It's 422 officially on the specs, but I had it on a dynamometer, and it was hitting close to 500.
So around the 500 horsepower.
Because it's 259 horsepower motors.
Right. I mean, I say mine. I think my car's 106 horsepower, and I find that enough. I'm not really racing around.
They don't really need to put that much horsepower in these things, but
and mine's just a normal car, but it's plenty. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, 30, 40 years ago, when cars could only do like 80 miles an hour. And that was it. My dad's car, he's got a Jag. That's got like turbo and stuff, and that can really pull away in race mode.
Is that a Lucid?
What's a Lucid? I don't know. Yeah. So I think his is like 200 odd horsepower, and this is like got almost double and a bit more. So a lot of power.
So do you know about Lucid Motors?
I vaguely heard of him. I don't really know.
So basically, they're a bunch of ex-Tesla people. They don't work for Tesla anymore.
I have heard a load of employees tried to start their own startup.
Yeah, and they were named something else before, and they just recently changed their name to Lucid.
Okay.
And they're gonna come out with a car, basically a Model S.
They really compete. I mean, they came from Tesla.
On paper, it looks great. I mean, everything's a little bit better. It's a little bit cheaper.
I'm sure they need investment, venture capitalists to get going, and it is taking off that area.
It's going to take them a couple of years to get there, and I mean, Tesla's making stuff now.
Yeah, so. I mean, to start this and to get things executed correctly, it takes a lot. I mean, Tesla's been around. The company's been around 12, 13 years to get this far. It hasn't just appeared overnight.
So by the time that the product they're showing now comes out, I'm sure whatever Tesla's got in the works is probably going to be better.
Yeah.
2 years from now, whatever Tesla has is probably better than what they're showing off right now.
They're always planning 3 steps ahead. It's I mean, there was another electric car which tried. I think it's Chinese people.
Yeah, the
Faraday Future. That's right. And I think that was a bit of an embarrassment, wasn't it? I mean, they kind of made the car, but it's more of a concept.
Yeah. So they had this big and they had a lot of money from China, right?
Yeah.
And they had huge plans to build this huge factory in Las Vegas, and they spent all kind of money on ads. I talked to them, and I saw them. They had a bunch of sensors on a Model S and Model X at the supercharger at CES, and they were like, "Oh yeah, ours is going to be faster than any Tesla."
Yeah, I think they tried to beat it on paper by like 0.1 per second.
They wasted all their money on buying other people's supercars to demo it at CES. That their prototype was faster than all these supercars. And literally, like the next day, Elon pushes out a software update. Bam! It's faster. Tesla's faster than their prototype.
And that's another good thing about infrastructure. It's not just about the superchargers and not having range anxiety and things like that. These cars are networked together like Facebook. All the information, all the miles that people do, all the autopilot miles are all logged, and they can build up. They can just build up a database for that. But it works the other way. If they come up with a different button or a different setting, or they want to come up with like an iTunes, I think there's a mocked up joke version called T-Tunes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they want to change anything, they can just boom, straight up, like updating your phone. Yeah, and that also can go with performance as well if they tweak certain settings. So
yeah, that's what I love about this car. Is
it's always getting better, not worse.
Yeah. It's like buying it's like when you buy a new car, but you don't have to buy a new car. Yeah. So you can always be looking forward to something like, oh, I can't wait until they finally they push out this or that update that'll do this or that.
And Tesla's not one of those corporate companies. They like doing stuff different. So it's like the Christmas mode on here where they do.
What they did this morning? Did you see what they did this morning?
No.
They upgraded everybody's software locked Tesla so they could get out of the hurricane. So the people with the 60s, and they upgraded them to 75s, the software locked 60s. So they
can't upgrade the battery, it's hardware.
No. They software locked a lot of these.
Right.
So you could pay to unlock the capacity.
Right.
So they have these 60s that are actually 75 kilowatt batteries.
But they're restricted.
They're restricted to 60 unless you pay X amount. It's like $5,000.
Right. So to help people out.
To help people out, so they can get out of the hurricane. They increase their battery range so that they could charge up fully and get the heck out of Florida.
That's what I mean.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And they did it for free. The people were posting online this morning. My battery.
I mean, it's good PR for the company as well.
Yeah.
But they could save lives like that, as well as the cars.
That's just crazy.
I mean. Yeah, I mean, on top of that, these cars are pretty much the safest car there is. Not only, especially when it goes full autonomy, not only can it mitigate an accident and avoid something which a human driver might have, but even if you do end up in a smash up, they've got pretty much 5-star in every category.
Yep.
So. And it's pretty much impossible to roll one of these, isn't it? With
that's what they said.
Center of gravity, because the batteries are all on the floor, so the center of gravity is insane. I mean, to literally tip one of these over, you'd have to drive it off a cliff.
There was a thing on Reddit today. Somebody's Prius had a little sticker on it. Says 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds.
Right.
Off a cliff.
Free fall. Probably faster than that with terminal velocity.
Actually,
rock.
It's not true, because ludicrous is faster than falling.
It's faster than
falling. That's what a G-force is, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can only go without.
It's like 1.5 Gs or something.
You can only go so fast down unless you got a rocket pushing you.
Right.
So if you just let something fall naturally through the air, it doesn't matter if you've got a ton of feathers. Now that's the same weight, remember, but a ton of feathers and a ton of iron or something, it's going to fall at the same speed. That's probably make much sense.
Well,
but you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So apart from aerodynamics, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to think that up on the spot. But yeah.
But like they would show a bowling ball on an apple.
Yeah,
they'd land at the same.
So a Tesla could be faster than terminal velocity. So even if you did make that car go off a cliff and and kind of hit higher speeds, it's still not going to beat a Tesla.
That's kind of crazy to think that you could theoretically drive a Tesla faster than another falling Tesla.
Yeah, you could. There's got to be something they could do on Top Gear to like test this out.
Right?
You know,
I mean, they have to be some kind of a stunt person or autonomy driving.
Not Top Gear. They've got the new one now, and the Grand Tour.
Yeah.
Have you seen that at all?
That'd be great though. You'd be dropping a car off a cliff, right? And the other car has to go underneath it before it hits the ground.
Yeah.
So they have to leave at the exact same point.
They could do that with a Tesla and maybe an EV Volt or something.
So you measure it, right?
Yeah.
So you measure the distance from the top of the cliff to the bottom and how far back the car is from where the other car is going to hit.
Yeah.
And then you launch them at the same time, and you have to get underneath where the car is going to get hit.
So if the Grand Tour or any of these car channels are watching and they need ideas, try it out.
So if you got $250,000 to waste,
if you've got a big budget, so. It'd be cool if someone tries that. This is the thing, you put this stuff out on the internet and people see it. Might be that viral video you're after.
So I'm pretty sure that we saw a Lucid car.
Right.
And there's Faraday is in Las Vegas and LA, so we're probably not going to see a Faraday Future car.
No.
Although it is Drive Electric Week starting today.
Okay.
So there's a lot of electric car manufacturers out and about with their prototypes attending these events.
Yeah.
So there might be some stuff that we've never heard of or seen before, like the new Leaf.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Tesla may be ahead of it, but there are a lot of people realise they're onto something, and it will take a few years for them to catch up. But give it 10 years. This is why it is the future. I mean, take the iPhone for example. They released a revolutionary product, and I think they said it would take about 5 years for Android to catch up. I mean, I own an Android phone. I find it better to use. But to start with, they weren't as good. They were quite clunky. They were buggy. They weren't as good. But over time, them and Windows, and that they have their own sort of phone, that they're catching up with the usability of the iPhone, because touchscreen on a mobile device, they're onto something. Yeah. But no one had done that previous to that.
So with autopilot here where we're at right now at Tesla headquarters, where they're testing this all the time, it should be working pretty doggone good. Because they're all talking to each other and uploading and downloading back to each other and everything.
Yeah, it's the communication. Because everything's talking to each other. It's just, I mean, even in the factory. I mean, I don't know about now, but when they were setting up originally, Elon used to be in the factory. The people who designed the cars were near to the people who were building them, and they were able to have like a two-way feedback on all the problems and kinks in designing. Now, a normal car company, they wouldn't have that. You'd have they'd be miles apart. It just wouldn't be communicating. So if something went wrong in the sort of chain of development, it wouldn't be spotted for 6 months, and that's why another reason that Tesla's their design and their R&D process and their prototyping, it's just different than what everyone else is doing.
There was a big article about his communication strategy between employees at his companies versus other companies that do silos, where this department can't talk to that department. Or like Microsoft, they'd have companies competing, or departments competing against each other
within the same company.
Yeah, like Apple did that for a little while.
That's like a civil war within its own company. It sounds very counterproductive. So yeah, they all should be on the same team, working in the same direction,
like
with
even
the same goal.
Like SpaceX apparently helps out Tesla and vice versa,
I mean,
even though they're not even the same company.
But because they've got the same founder, and I think some employees probably work for both, and I mean they do share the technologies. I mean,
it's pretty cool to think that you're driving in a car that's made by rocket scientists.
Yeah, I mean you saw. I mean in the Love Day project, which was pretty much at the Model 3 launch event, they opened a competition for people to make a advert, just not a real advert, but just like a competition to see if someone can make an advert for Tesla. The reason being is because Tesla don't actually they don't need to advertise. They're inundated with pre-orders. But yeah, one of the actual adverts for that actually sort of what was it? The spaceman guy, the astronaut, the everyday astronaut made one, and he showed up. I think it's a Model X, and it said, I think the slogan was spaceships for car. No, hang on. Was it?
Oh yeah.
I forget the slogan, but it was.
And spaceships for everyone, or everyday people, or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. Hold on, again, I don't know if I should use that.
There's
I'm probably gonna,
Model X.
I'm probably gonna have about 10. I'm probably gonna have enough video footage here for years. I'll just upload like a different subject.
Oh, and there's an X. There's 2 Model X's right in front of us.
Yeah.
We had 3 Model X's all in the same intersection.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much come. I'm just covering everything. You know.
There's your smart car.
Hey, that's small. Yeah.
It's funny because I always see them with like really big people in them, and it makes them look even
smaller.
It makes the car look smaller, and it makes the people look bigger.
Exactly. Ford KA is about the same size. It's a small little, baked bean on wheels. Yeah, I've got plenty of footage. But, I don't even know if it makes. I'm just sort of jumping from one subject to another.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know. I mean,
you can pick out whatever you want or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you got lots to work with.
Yeah, but I suppose it wouldn't make sense to have that over like 10 videos and shove it in each vlog. That would make no sense. I don't know, I might shove like a half-hour video out with like all the best bits. You can do the live feed if you want.
Sure. Have you ever done a live feed?
Just on my Facebook for a few minutes, and I think I was just making an omelette or something. It's so everyone, because I mean, even if like a trip across the US, for example, no one who knows me knows your channel, so it doesn't matter.
So, I don't know if you could type in there.
What's the title? The title.
Yeah. Trip to Tesla headquarters?
Yeah. Tesla headquarters trip?
Yeah, that works.
Double check the spelling one. Headquarters. HEADQUATERS. Is that right? Will it do it if I do it by voice?
Yeah.
I'm used to typing everything. I need to. Right, so Tesla. What was that? Tesla headquarters.
Yeah. Trip.
Tesla headquarters trip.
Tesla headquarters trip.
Oh, this is headquarters trip. Let's do that. I'll try it. It should recognise the accent. Select all. How do I backspace? Keyboard. Backspace.
It's going through the car.
Tesla headquarters trip. It doesn't understand me. Try again. So select all. Keyboard. Bring up. Delete. Let you do it. It's probably trained to your voice.
Yeah. Tesla headquarters trip.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, it should be good.
Okay, we'll do now.
Yeah, public's fine.
Public?
Yep. And should be like next.
Oh, I didn't realise retype.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll retype 3, 2. Which way round do you have it?
The way you had it.
You have it. Landscape.
Yeah.
This magnets are very.
Yeah, it's not very good.
When you're ready. Where's your channel? You did talking. No one knows who the hell I am. So.
But we're really close.
Okay.
So this will be pretty short, unless people start chatting with us.
Yeah, let's take a scenic route, drive around.
Hopefully we got good cell phone signal.
I think so. Round here you should, yeah.
So there's a magnet inside this camera case, and apparently it's not working too well.
So just hold it. Let me see.
a little bit.
Uh-oh.
We only got like a mile or two to go, so I guess we got 8 miles to go. Anyways, we're in Palo Alto. Silicon Valley.
Oh, Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and we're in a herd of Teslas. There's a red one in front of us. We're at an intersection with 4 Model X's at one point, and we're gonna go check out the Tesla headquarters. I'm with Wesley.
Hello.
And we're live, so if you guys got questions, ask away. We'll answer anything that pops up. So I was here about 2.5 years ago, and it'll be interesting to see what's different.
Reconnect. I'll just hold it. It's a little bit easier. Obviously, we're bobbing it. Are we still live, or is it not doing
Audio, video not available.
Okay.
Reconnect.
It says live at the top of the count.
The stream's still going, but for some reason it's not.
We're like the technology headquarters of the world. It should have a signal. Finish. No, we'll finish.
If you finish it, it'll end the stream.
Oh,
Yeah, so just we'll see if we make the corner and hit reconnect again, see if it pops back. Oh, we lost 2 people. What's it saying? Audio and video not available.
Has it done it before?
Usually it'll say like the connection's bad or something.
It's counting up again for 5 seconds, 6, so maybe it'll get in bits and pieces.
I don't think it's actually going because it'll go.
It's
Holy
counting.
cow.
It's counting, it's at 16 seconds.
Well, it was worth a try.
If we hit finish and try it again.
You know, for some reason I'm having better luck with the Samsung. It's in my laptop case. Is my laptop case just directly behind us? It's in the front zipper.
Oh, is it the bag on the seat?
Yeah. It's a solar panel zipper. It's in the front of that. There's a Samsung. It's on AT&T, and
Yeah.
when the iPhone doesn't work, it usually works a lot better. And this one actually magnet mount sticks really good.
You're gonna have like a 2-second video. I don't know what's going on. So when you mark it up, you just delete the ones that make no sense. Yeah, if we're close to it, either drive round for a bit or do it out on the map.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, real content.
Alright, if you want to try again.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Public. Next. Great tile.
video if you were trying to watch earlier, we were using an iPhone on a Verizon network in Silicon Valley, and apparently
no signal.
no signal. So we're now using a Samsung phone on an AT&T network, and we're getting passed by a spark. Anywho, we're going to the Tesla headquarters. I'm with Wesley here. He traveled down from the UK, and we went to the well, I drove past the Gigafactory